God, this is why we get shadow banned. Sorry, Ben.
Right, should we? Let's just
do that
let's
again.
just carry on.
No.
Do it again?
I'll do it again.
No.
3, 2, intro.
Kept waiting. Sucks.
Welcome to CrossCast, episode 74. My name is Ben, and I would like to start with a humble apology and correction. We don't get sincere, we don't get serious often on this podcast, but I made a grave error last time I hosted. Alex, when you hosted episode 70, you took the time to create special intros, a special theme almost, where because it was episode 70, it was based around the Platinum Jubilee, and you gave us all royal nicknames, and it was all very funny. Dan went to the effort of writing a lengthy, slightly too lengthy monologue, which was nice. And Lewis did his usual funny intros, and Mark did some acting. And when I hosted, it was just I was very kind of methodical. I went just straight to the point. Here's him. Let's go. And I'm sorry. I think I did you all a disservice, dear listeners, because the last episode I hosted was episode 69, and I went, the joke's right there, and I didn't intro you in. I didn't give you the intros you deserved on episode 69. So I'm here to right that wrong this evening and give you the intros that you should have got on episode 69. So
Good.
Here are some sexually positioned intros based for you guys. So first up, he's a man partial to a pretzel dip. We call him the chairman, but you know him as Dan. Hello, Dan.
Oh, I like that. What's pretzel dip?
I can't explain any of these. I'm just going to
Okay.
reel them off.
I'm going to Google that.
Google them, play along at home. Anyone that tells me how many I name wins a prize. Next up, it's time to stand and deliver, cowgirl, because the angry dragon is here. It's Alex. All right, Alex?
Very well.
Good.
Not sure about cowgirl, but yeah.
And last but by no means least, he goes by many names. Hot Richard. The Dutch Rudder. Canadian Porsche. Blumpkin Plunger. Mississippi Bird Bath. Keith. But we...
How is Keith the funniest one?
we know him as the Rusty Trombone.
Oh,
It's Lewis.
Hi.
Oh, well done.
How you doing, Lewis?
Hi. What was it? Canadian? What?
The Canadian porch swing. Google those at home.
Oh, dearie me.
The pretzel sex position on the metro.co.uk. How to do it, what it is, and the benefits. The person being penetrated lies on their side. The person doing the penetrating holds up their partner's top leg. Which one's the top leg? Oh, because they're on the side. Straddles the bottom leg and then shifts closer to ease inside. The top can then hold their partner's leg against their chest and get thrusting, all while looking deep into their lover's eyes. 5th of March, 2022, the Metro.
The Metro.
The Metro.
There we go. We've all learned something already.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if my wife ever checks my search history from researching those today, She's going to be severely disappointed.
Great alibi.
Yeah. Podcast intro.
Top 5
It's
Pornhub
my
searches.
Yeah, how are we doing anyway, lads?
Good, mate. You? Really good.
Yes, very good. We're kind of in pseudo E3 season at the moment, aren't we? Which is nice.
Yeah, it's busy. It's busy at the moment. I was disappointed the other day about the PlayStation Showcase. You guys,
Really?
seem to, just only because I was really hoping for more on Final Fantasy 16. I was hoping for it to be this year, although that was naive. And what I saw of it didn't really enthuse me as much as I thought it would do. So, yeah, I was a little bit deflated, but I think you guys were happy with it.
Yeah, I don't think there was one game in there that kind of disappointed me at all.
I've not watched
It
it.
was one of the better state of plays.
Yeah.
I'm just getting geared up for what's coming over the next couple of weeks. Gearing myself up.
We had the Sonic presentation today, didn't we? Sonic Central. That's really the peak.
Yeah. What was on it? Anything good? Or?
Set the bar
Utter
high.
Shite.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Would a Sonic fan like it?
Probably. There was a lot of Sonic there, but yeah, nothing that interesting. I think. But yeah, what have you been doing? Let's have a. So basically, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be going breaking down. Obviously, the last few episodes we've gone over everyone's top 10 games. Mark unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight, but we are going to go through that list and work out what our definitive cross players top 10 of all time is. But yeah, just wanted to quickly have a little warm up, go around, just touch base with everyone, just go around the virtual table, see what everyone's been playing, what's been floating your boat lately. Lewis, what have you been?
Aye.
What have you been dabbling in this week?
This week it's a little bit more Earthbound from last week. Not a lot of gaming time, to be honest. But yeah, continuing on with Earthbound. I'd mentioned in Discord today that last week's podcast, I thought it was around halfway through Earthbound, and I was looking on Fangamer because they are restocking the vinyl for Mother 2, and then on the inside in the gatefold, there's almost like a pseudo map of the towns you go to. I'm not even halfway yet. So I'm about 14 hours in, so 14, 15 hours in. So I've still got a long way to go.
I didn't know it was that long. I thought.
Yeah, that I'm rubbish. But
Probably that.
that's always the case there. Yeah, just that. Not a lot more. That's it. That's it.
That's it. Good. Concise. Dan, what about you? You had any game time of late? Or
No, not since the little arrival of Kit. So we've not been playing too much. I've got what was that? What we've got on the? Thank you, man. Cheers.
yes,
Well
we
done.
should. We haven't publicly congratulated you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Dan.
Come on.
Your seed is potent.
Wash it on me. That's fine. Never having sex again. Too tired. Yeah, so not really played too much. I've still got Alex's delayed laughter. I've still got quite a few games I want to kind of pass through. I've been playing a little bit of Red Dead still. I maybe got like 20 minutes of that in the other day. However, Jesse is in Childminder on Thursday and Friday, so I'm hoping to find a pocket of at least an hour or two there to start playing something. So wishful thinking, boys. That's the way to think about it.
Good. Find those pockets. Alex, you are drowning in pockets. What have you been playing lately? Just narrow it down to the last 5 games.
Last 5, okay. What I have played 9 years late was The Last of Us. So I started The Last of Us last week, finished it on Sunday, and if my top 10 had been a couple of weeks later, I very much think it would have been in there.
Really?
Really?
That's how much I enjoyed it.
I genuinely loved The Last of Us, but my memory of it has been tainted by Ben's
Blame
playthrough.
me. No,
Tainted it.
my fault. I think I would. No, I wouldn't enjoy it. What am I saying? I'd really like to enjoy it, but it's a fucking bleak.
It is bleak. I want to
I
finish
thought I
the
was going to
second
hate
one.
it.
What's right? What do you like about it, Alex? Is it just the story?
The story, the character development, like just how it tells that story. I mean, it is bleak. There's no two ways about that. But you feel the characters. Like you can't take away from the storytelling at all. but just it really. I mean, the rest of it's probably. I don't like zombie games, and I was really I was quite pleased that there was a lot less zombie-esque parts to it than I expected. Which is
They're not really zombies, are they? Either they're like
clickers, things. Yeah, but they're essentially zombies. So I mean, more or less. But it was nice to have that kind of more variety of enemy and story. It wasn't just that kind of zombie-esque shooter survival game that I expected it to be, and I think that's probably why I enjoyed it more, because it wasn't what I expected it to be.
You finished it?
Yeah.
Oh, have you?
In like 3 days, wasn't it? It was ridiculous. Started talking about it and then.
Oh well.
Well, I think I'm about halfway through it. Maybe I should just bite the bullet.
It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, it's just one of those games where you should play it, right?
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it, it's like required reading almost. I've been playing Dungeons of Dreadrock.
That's not a game.
It is. It's an indie game. Indie games are real games, Dan. All right. Yeah. It's not all about AAA, you know. Yeah, lovely little kind of. I think it's kind of a Zelda-like in its presentation, but basically 100 dungeon levels where it's just a puzzle. Each one is a puzzle room, and you figure it out, just logic puzzles. And it's cool. It's a little bit mobile-y in its presentation. I find that a bit off-putting. Like it's got the big, like as if you'd play it on your mobile and you'd have the big like restart level button on the side and the burger button to bring up the menu.
Boiga.
Yeah. The Boiga. So that's a bit of a shame, and the font is a bit shitty, but the actual gameplay itself is really good.
You said the same about
Say it.
Nobody Saves the World.
Yeah, it's a bit mobile-y.
But you said about
Good fun, though.
font being rubbish and about like mobile-y, and you mentioned being a bit grainy, and it just, complaint after complaint.
Kind of say the same about like Slay the Spire and stuff like that as well, where it's got that kind of legacy feel of something that seems more fitting on a mobile, but yeah, still the gameplay kind of pushes that to one side.
Exactly. And I think it's the case here. I think I'll see this one through. I think I'm about a quarter of the way through it. I'm 25 levels into a 100 level game, so I'm exactly a quarter.
Quick math.
Yes.
That's math.
Well done, mate.
Speaking of math, I've been doing a lot of math based around Ben's tens and all of our lists. So should we just get right into that?
No.
But until then, go on then, Lewis.
Maths. The math.
It's Ben's tens.
Ben's tens.
Oh, baby. Ben's tens. Definitive edition. That's what we're doing tonight, folks. I have been, Alex, you'll be so proud of me. I've created a spreadsheet and everything. I've got a pivot table on the go. Oh, it is. The cells are conditionally formatted. And,
wow.
Yeah.
Stop it. I know. Get back to some of those positions.
Somebody pass me my rusty trombone. Basically, what we've got. Here's a few top level stats for you guys. Out of a possible 50, so obviously 5 of us did our top 10, so that adds up to 50. Math. We had 37 games on our collective list, so obviously we agreed.
That's cool.
Agreed on some of them, which is good, right? However, 29 of those 37 got only 1 vote each, so we didn't agree on that many in the grand scheme of things. Which game do you guys think got the most votes?
Elden Ring.
Breath of the Wild.
It is Breath of the Wild.
Nah, bollocks.
Yeah. And in fact, The Legend of Zelda also got the most shout-outs as a series as well. There was 4 separate Zelda games that we named in our top 10s. So,
most than Lewis's.
They're all in mine.
Yeah. Can anyone think the series that came next in terms of the nominations?
Mario.
Yeah, Mario. 3 nominations. And interestingly, all 2D Mario games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So notable omission there for Mario 64. Other notable omissions: The Last of Us. We just mentioned it. Nobody had that at all. No Resident Evil games. No Red Dead Redemption 2, which I know is a widely regarded recent game, and also no Metroid whatsoever. Not even Smart put Super Metroid. Just as much as we all claim to love Metroidvanias. Yeah, those are the stats. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've scored. Basically, if somebody voted something number 1, that game got 10 points. If they voted number 2, it got 9 points, and so on and so forth. So number 10 would get 1 point. So I have got basically 8 games that received more than 1 vote. So we've got math has dictated what our top 8 could be. So we really, before we kind of put them in order, what we need to do is work out from all of the other games we named, what are the 2 that can be included in that top 10? Are you with me?
Yes.
I'm with you.
Okay. Now you're thinking, that's a lot of games. How are we going to do this in an easy way? Well, luckily, I have categorized them in a logical way. So, for example, by the end of this, we'll have a list of 10 that we then need to choose those next 2 from. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the first category that we need to decide a winner from is more Zelda. So we've got 2 more Zelda games that we need to decide between. So these are A Link to the Past and Majora's Mask. We need to decide which one of those is the stronger of the 2 in that particular category. Any thoughts on that from the jump? Lewis, I expect you to say Majora's Mask. Dan, you're raising your hand.
Can I abstain from this and just say that neither, because I know what'll happen, or do I have to pick one?
Well, we have to pick one. You can
Okay,
obviously
collectively have to. Okay.
Yeah.
I played. I think I
can
played
not
Link
be
to the Past. I'll go for A Link to the Past, for no particular reason other than I played it, and I thought Majora's Mask looks like dog shit.
Gameplay over graphics every single time. No, I mean, I'm happy to go with A Link to the Past because I'm assuming Ocarina of Time is one of the other ones that are in there. And I had that higher up, so I'm happy to say Link to the Past, even though I've still not completed it from the first time I ever spoke to you guys over the phone. Same playthrough, not finished it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Alex, any thoughts on that?
No, I haven't played either of them.
Well, on that basis, and Link to the Past was one of my selections, I think we'll put that through as the winner in that category.
How convenient.
Another Ben category. I've done the work. Massage the results.
The next one, more Mario. So we've got Super Mario Brothers 3 and Mark's selection, Super Mario Brothers Deluxe.
Not a game.
So basically, Super Mario Brothers 1 or Super Mario Brothers 3. I think 3 is the better game. Arguably, 1 could be more important of a game. But I think 3 is the better game, and certainly personally for me, more.
Wasn't that also in your top 10?
I was literally gonna say the same thing then.
No, it wasn't.
It was in my top 10.
Yeah.
I would go for 1 because I've got very fond memories of both 1 and 3. But 1 on that original NES, playing it with my cousins at their house over and over and over and over and over again. And even now today, that game's held up so well. 3 has, but it's very slippy. Very slippy game. So
Remember, it's not just 1, is it? Is it not like 1 Deluxe DX?
It was
random version
was,
that ever could be.
It was quite insistent that we
include the best ever.
Say, nobody else is going to put 1 Deluxe, but Lewis, what do you reckon?
3.
Yeah, I reckon 3.
Go on then.
Okay, 3. Congratulations.
Sorry, Mark, I tried.
Yeah. What was it on your list, Ben?
It was in my
20
honourable mentions.
Yeah.
So great. Next category.
Yes.
Oh, where we go.
Nice.
Is simply titled Ori.
Okay.
So we have this. We all well, there were 2 both of the Ori games, so Blind Forest and Will o' the Wisps. Now, look, to be completely transparent, I put Will o' the Wisps in my top 10. I think it's a better game than Blind Forest.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much to
I'll concede that one, because even when we were going through the top 10s, I did say
Alex,
I thought
don't do
that was a
that.
better game.
Yeah. Okay.
I can be
Lewis?
gracious here.
Good. Lewis?
Well, that's a good question. I think, all joking aside, Will o' the Wisps is a far better game. It took a lot of improvements and applied them really well. So it's a far better game. Soundtrack's better than the first one, but we're talking about games here. Games.
Yeah, soundtrack is important in this game, especially. Dan, what? Any thoughts at all on that?
I've only played Blind Forest, so I'll abstain, but I'll go with Will o' the Wisps for the reasons that you guys have given.
I think that one's a no-brainer. A trickier category is this one I've called Team Eco, because we had 2 Team Eco games. We had Eco and then Shadow of the Colossus. It's difficult because I was kind of hoping Mark would be here to sort of debate it with us. I've only played Shadow of the Colossus. I absolutely loved it. It was in my top 10. But have you guys got any more thoughts on that? On Eco or otherwise?
Neither really got an opinion on it. I have bought Shadow of the Colossus after you spoke about it last time, so that's the best I can give you.
That's good enough for me. That's bought Shadow of the Colossus.
I know what Shadow of the Colossus is. I can't even picture Eco in my head. Go on, sell it to me. On you go.
Well, no, I want Shadow of the Colossus to go.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's shit. Awful.
What's your motivation for going and taking down these colossi? Are they just friendly?
It's they are quite friendly, and there is a sense. There's a sense of guilt.
Eco.
You kill them with a samurai sword.
We samurai are a very noble breed.
Yeah. No, but Shadow of the Colossus is quite emotional because you don't know why you're killing them, and then it suddenly dawns on you that actually
You're a cunt.
you're a bit of a dick and doing this to save, I don't know, your sister or a girlfriend or something, or a princess, and you're hurting these noble beasts. It's a tricky one because Eco is a very important game. Shadow of the Colossus, probably the better of the two.
I think wouldn't have been remastered over Eco if it wasn't a better game. So put that in.
True.
Sorry, Mark.
Alex, happy with that, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I would have probably sided with Mark just because I think he sold it better, but I'll go with the consensus.
Wow.
What a slap in the face.
Wow. Yeah. Should have been him up. Next category. Cars and guns.
The Alex category.
So we've got Forza Horizon 3, GTA 3, and Control.
Oh, bloody hell.
Well, I mean, Control.
Look at your little face. Oh,
I mean,
I don't think Control should be in the top 10. GTA 3 should be. That's my.
I think GTA 3 is a more transformative and important game than Control.
I agree. Obviously, Control was at number 4 for me. This isn't my list, this is our collective list.
Well, you can still
If I
fight.
disagree with it, then that's fine. I mean, I think in terms of gameplay, the overall experience, Control is far better than GTA 3. GTA 3 has not aged. Excellent font. Hasn't aged particularly well. We've obviously improved massively on gameplay experience since 99 or 2000, whenever it was. But it's a very important game. We would not have that massive franchise. It's the most highest grossing franchise ever, I think, or at least the GTA 5 is. That game is, in terms of media, is like it blows everything else out the water.
Oh yeah, 5.
We wouldn't have that
Massive.
if we didn't have 3.
And I guess what it did for open world games in general and kind of put them at the forefront of modern gaming
So yeah,
but then-
control. Yeah.
I can't. I get the argument for GTA 3, but then I cast my mind back to something Mark said about when he was making his list, he was like, "What game would I be happy to play today?" And that was one of his criteria. Now, as you said, GTA 3 probably hasn't aged incredibly well. Control has the advantage of being a newer game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like the way we're completely disregarding Forza Horizon 3. Alex,
I know. I'm
so-
sitting here thinking that. I'm like, I love that. They're just like Forza's just not even a consideration.
Yeah. Tricky one.
No, it's not.
What do you reckon though, Alex? Out of those three,
Well, I've only played 2, so I haven't played GTA 3, so I kind of struggle to comment on it. I can understand where you're coming from. That franchise has basically came from that, so without that, you wouldn't have what we've got today. But Control for me, I really enjoyed Control, but Forza's better than them both.
Get stuffed.
Fighting
who'd have
talk,
thought
love
this
it.
is where it would get ugly? To be honest, I don't feel strongly enough to kind of cast my vote either way. I don't think it's Forza, but
Let's go vanilla and go GTA 3.
don't go vanilla. What do you, Dan and Lewis? What do you reckon? If you
Honestly, like I get your point over what game would I be happy to play now, but I don't think that was the way that most of us approached our top tens. I think we all had that
that's
element of, all right, it may not be the best version of that game.
Yeah.
Which is why some people picked, certain different kinds of Ori or whatever it might be, or Final Fantasy or whatever it might be. The angle that I would say is, of all of the games that are on there, in that top 10, we've got to have games that are all meaningful in some way, that we've all put a significant amount of time into. That's it. Close an argument. And I did that with 3. I thought it was, like Lewis said, formulative in terms of open world design and what it did for games, and even just the polish on a game like that. That was the first true AAA game that people experienced to the mass market that appealed to everyone. And as much as like 5's a far better version of GTA, I'd still say 3 was the one that kickstarted all of that off. And so,
that was the sort of wow moment of the franchise when it went to 3D. Yeah,
incredible.
I'm happy with GTA 3. Lewis, you happy with that?
I'm happy with that. I mean, we're going to get 2 games out of this at the end, aren't we?
We are. Exactly.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
All right, GTA 3. Alex, all good with that?
Yeah.
No.
Sorry. Some of these categories are going to be tricky. The next one I think is going to be tricky again without Mark around to throw his hat in the ring. Indie Darlings, Darkest Dungeon, and Dead Cells.
Oh.
Now, personally, I haven't played enough Darkest Dungeon to really fight for that. As cool as I can see that it is, and as much as I know Mark loves it, I really like Dead Cells. I think that's from what I played of both games, I've played a lot more Dead Cells and thoroughly enjoyed it, so I would just vote for that on that basis.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think either of these two are going to end up in the top 10.
I'd agree with that. I'd go with Dead Cells
honest.
for that reason, as much as bless up Dark Souls. You know what I mean, Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, I would agree with Dead Cells because I think it's more beloved within our community. I think if you go by talking about those games in our Discord, there's certainly far more love for Dead Cells than Darkest Dungeon.
Now there is. I'd argue the other way of saying Darkest Dungeon was the biggest game from Mark's perspective, and then when there was only 3 of us, and it was like the
Switch Island era.
In the Switch Island era, R.I.P. But we're not there anymore. We're here.
We're here.
So fuck off.
Maybe we'll be there again.
Okay.
The way we're going. Dead Cells is the winner of the Indie Darlings category.
Well done.
Well done, Dead.
Well done, Dead Cells.
Take it, you all right with that?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's fine. I've barely played Darkest Dungeon. I'm not overly keen on Dead Cells, but I've played more of it.
I thought you loved Dead Cells.
No. You tried to impose on me a love for Dead Cells, and I rejected it.
I will always impose my love. Right. The next one is potentially very messy. We've got some heavy hitters here. This is the RPG category.
I knew this was coming.
This is a 5-way race between Oh, look at his t-shirt. He's got a Final Fantasy t-shirt. We've got Dragon Quest XI,
Whoa.
Not a chance.
Final Fantasy IX, Fire Emblem Three Houses. Oh, it's a strategy RPG. It's not an RPG. The Witcher 3
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck you, Ben.
Damn.
and Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Got to
Well, I
pick
can
between my
get straight
children.
away.
Yakuza
So-
Like a Dragon should be
Stop
nowhere
immediately
near this
dismissing
list.
my game.
It should be nowhere near this list.
Any that we can sort of chip off there straight away.
The last one. Was it Like a Dragon?
Alex's ones. Get rid of that. I don't know.
Dragon Quest.
Fuck that shit, man.
Alex is
He's rattled.
I like Yakuza Like a Dragon. You know that. But I don't like it more than Fire Emblem or Dragon Quest XI. That is what I will say. And I haven't really played enough of the other two to judge them. Dan, what do you prefer out of Final Fantasy 9? Final Fantasy 9 or The Witcher 3?
Yeah, literally 2 of my top 3. So thank you.
It's a night. Is it a 8 t-shirt
top
you've got
four.
on just now?
Number 8. Yeah, number 8. They didn't sell a 9 one. That was a bit of good.
Traitor.
Well, it's not. It's 8 still fantastic. I think it would be both a travesty if there wasn't The Witcher 3 or a Final Fantasy game in the top 10 overall. And I don't think Dragon Quest XI holds up or isn't as good a game as 9 is if you were comparing them like for like as like a JRPG. However, The Witcher 3 brought back my love of gaming, and that was my Desert Island Cart choice. So,
It was.
torn. Go to Alex. Let's see what Alex
Have a
says.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
So you made an interesting point there about Final Fantasy 9 being better, for want of a better word, than Dragon Quest 11. I don't know if better is the right word, but it's probably more important.
I think it'd be more popular.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. So I think I would probably say I'm happy to take Dragon Quest 11 out of the running, even though it was mine.
Magnus.
I'd also be happy with that. Thanks, Ben.
Are you writing that down? Taking Dragon Quest 11 out.
I know this wasn't my pick, but I'd also be happy to take Fire Emblem Three Houses out.
No, you
As
wouldn't.
great a game as that is.
I need to go back to that. I'm going to rebuy it. It's on my list. It's the one I'm mooching for at the moment.
It
I'm
was
gonna
my
get
number 10.
actually.
My
Yeah.
number 10.
So
I mean, it is a
great-
two-horse race.
Yeah, it is between The Witcher 3 and Final Fantasy 9, right?
Yep.
Sorry, what? So, Witcher 3 and...
Final Fantasy 9.
No, I'm not sure about that.
Yakuza is great, but I just think it's too recent to know.
It's too shit.
Is that the
Sorry.
one where the guy hides in the is in a box or on the toilet or something? Is that what that
Yep.
game is?
That's the one.
Or doing the toilet in a box?
Doing a toilet in a box, yeah.
Another one I need to go back to.
A wee blobby thing. Yeah.
So where are you guys all voting for out of those two then?
9.
I think Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah, okay. Well, there we go. We decided that.
All right. Happy days. Okay.
Cool.
We're getting there, lads. We're surprisingly agreeing on quite a lot.
We are. Don't know what.
It's
gonna get messy.
The next
It'll be on Super Mario DX XL edition if Mark.
DX.
It had the lost levels at the end of it. It was amazing.
DX Hypercrack Slinging Dick Edition.
The next category is FPS.
Ooh.
This is again quite a strong category. We've got GoldenEye, Half-Life 2, and Halo.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, Halo
that-
can get discounted straight away.
I don't know. Like I loved Halo.
Yeah.
It's Halo for me.
I think I'll.
But again, to go back to seminal games that made the genre, GoldenEye was just that like tentpole of a game. I know it was on the N64, Ben. You can complain all you want, but
That's the only one of those I've played, so I would probably go for that.
I would say GoldenEye is more meaningful to people who had a Nintendo console at that point in time with an N64 and playing it there. Whereas Halo with the Xbox, it's far more an important game than GoldenEye, because people play like the multiplayer with that Xbox felt more important than the multiplayer on the GoldenEye side, and I absolutely adore the GoldenEye as well. But like even the tagline "Halo Combat Evolved" felt very accurate to what that game was. It was just incredible. But then Half-Life 2.
Yeah, I never played it.
Tough. Yeah, that's a great game. That's a fantastic game. I suppose, Alex, what are you picking between you? They're both in your top 10, weren't they?
I think
GoldenEye,
Half-Life
wasn't it,
2
mine?
was Mark, and Lewis had GoldenEye.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's
I don't know.
Portal. Portal, that's obviously still on the list.
Oh, it was Dan that had GoldenEye, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I can verify it.
That's what I mean. Halo's a great pick. Halo 2 is a better game, but Halo's a great pick.
And Halo is arguably a better game than GoldenEye.
Yeah, I'd probably say so. The multiplayer on Halo and playing it in like Legendary or whatever it was called mode, where you're like having to club together and get through the flood, and then one of you's respawning, one's having to stay alive. That was one of the first times I'd ever seen that kind of dynamic in a game, unless I'm wrong. I'd go for Halo, even though I've got
GoldenEye was the first time I'd played a multiplayer deathmatch kind of.
No,
like
absolutely.
I hadn't even that was a complete game changer, and I can't believe I'm sticking up for GoldenEye.
Yeah, I want you just to go back, right? Imagine you're all sitting there around your N64, 4 of you, you're going to a multiplayer, slaps only, no one's allowed to go odd job, one of your friends' little brothers sitting there chewing on the cable.
Yeah,
Just chewing the cable.
Just chewing
the cable.
Classic deathmatch games in that. Like, always in the same room, shouting and screaming, hiding in the walls in the facility, jumping out, ka-ta! Going
That was
Jaws.
fine,
and seeing
that
a
was
top
fine if
Jobs
you had
hat.
pals, Lewis, though.
That's not my fault. That's not my problem.
I suppose the decision there then is it multiplayer against friends or multiplayer with friends? Because they were the two differences between Halo and GoldenEye.
and I guess
I'm torn.
Halo, it was playing. You could also play with strangers as well, and that was a kind of. A new thing.
You could with GoldenEye if you
Yeah.
wanted. Excuse me there. Bum, do
Don't they come round?
you want to play? Will you play Odd Job?
But then you also had the LAN parties and stuff with Halo. I mean, you probably didn't do it, but many people did.
Yeah.
I was telling stories about her doing that the other night. I mean, that had such a big effect as well. So it kind of did both. It had playing with strangers and you're playing with friends.
I'll go for
I don't think-
Halo, even though GoldenEye is in my top 10. I'll go for Halo.
I think because we can't agree, we should go for Half-Life because no one spoke about it.
Frosticles in the chat saying Halo killed local multiplayer is what Ben's saying. Yeah, I guess I am. You should be on the podcast. Yeah,
It killed it in a good way.
This is the trickiest one, I think.
So far, yeah.
Yeah,
It's definitely Halo for me.
and Dan, you're voting Halo, even though
Yep.
GoldenEye was in your top 10.
Because it makes, like, as much as GoldenEye would be fantastic in the top 10 overall, I think Halo is more important in that top 10, personally. So
Well, Lewis, what do you reckon?
GoldenEye, every day of the week, GoldenEye.
shall I get the coin out?
Oh, hang on. I haven't decided whether I'm going to side with Lewis or just go for Halo.
Half-Life's there as well. You could, another pointless vote.
You could abstain.
Do you know what? Let's go Halo.
Oh!
No.
Yeah,
I
let's go for
disagree.
Halo.
I am disagreeing.
Well,
I'm a host
this
too.
one. Okay. Halo Combat Evolved. Right.
This was episode 73, Ben. This would not go through.
We had 180 views.
We've got 2 categories remaining. So the 9th category is games for clever people. And again, shame Mark's not here. Curse of Monkey Island, Dungeon Keeper. I mean, I had to go in a category. Disco Elysium and Psychonauts 2. I don't
know why that's ended up in games with clever people. That's a bit of a nobody else to put that game. It's just,
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah. As you can see, the last 2 categories are very much like the wild card categories. I haven't really got a horse in this race, so Alex, Lewis, fight it out amongst yourselves.
I'll remove Dungeon Keeper out of the running, just as much as it's a personal favourite. Yeah, it's not going to get in the top 10.
What were the other ones that were there?
Curse of Monkey Island, getting rid of Dungeon Keeper, Disco Elysium, and Psychonauts 2.
See, Disco Elysium, I could see why that would be in a top 10 overall. Yeah. I don't know Psychonauts 2 enough yet, but and then when it comes to Curse of Monkey Island is an incredible game, which I loved when I was younger as well.
I would agree. I think. Sorry again, Alex. I don't think Psychonauts.
You didn't like Psychonauts 2,
but I don't think it. The only one I can see that really belongs on any sort of top 10 list is Disco Elysium, or maybe Curse of Monkey Island for how important it was.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and the reason I don't disagree is because of how much I recently liked Citizen Sleeper, and I haven't played Disco Elysium yet, but I think if I had played it, I'd probably agree. So I'm kind of willing to concede again. Well, I mean, at least it wasn't fully discounted straight away this time. That was slightly better. Yeah. But
I gave it a second.
Yeah, but I
read it out.
Yeah.
To be completely fair, at the moment, Disco Elysium is, I know it never released this year, but it is my game of the year.
Best game you've played this year?
Yes. By a stretch.
What did you play that on?
Switch.
Okay, cool. I've been looking at it.
I got it when the load times, like they're a fraction of what they were. It would have been unplayable before that.
Okay, cool.
Mark suffered, and I think it like triplicated his playtime on it.
Oh no.
It was something ridiculous, but yeah, it's.
You had me at Mark suffered.
But
I think we can probably, unless anyone's got any strong feelings about Curse of Monkey Island.
No.
I mean, it's another one that you could say should be there. Yeah. But not over Disco Elysium.
You could say it, but it's not going to be.
We're not going to say it. Everyone happy with Disco Elysium in that category?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Final category is games for dumb people. Lilac Wars.
Shut up.
That's it. No. Lilac Wars. Pokemon Yellow, Streets of Rage 2, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
So can we just clarify? Because oh wait there. Sorry, talk amongst yourself. I put Pokemon. That's fine. I put Blue at 12. That's fine.
Oh, did you?
Okay. Just put.
Yellow was 10. I think Tony Hawk's was 9.
Let's check. So Dan, you had Tony Hawk's at 10 and Yellow at 7.
Got that more wrong.
It's amazing how they can change. As soon as you've read them out, it changes straight away.
Yeah. I'd be.
What were they against? Lilac Wars,
Lilac
Yellow,
Wars,
and Tony Hawk's,
and Streets of Rage 2.
I think as
Tony
much
Hawk's.
as I'd probably put Yellow up for that. I mean, Tony Hawk's fantastic, but in terms of like massive, impactful games, I think Pokemon Blue, Red, and Yellow were the ones that really.
Were they the original ones?
Yeah. The OGs.
I think it's got to be that then. As much as I'd love Streets of Rage 2, and that was on my list.
That's a great game as well. Yeah.
And I love Tony Hawk's, and I've never played Pokemon. It started off a whole movement, didn't it? So I'm happy with that.
Biggest franchise ever.
Yep.
Tyler in the chat. Biggest franchise in the world. Pinnacle of gaming for every generation since it released. I don't know. Pinnacle of
Do you disagree with that?
You had me at the start, Tyler, but then you trailed off.
Started strong.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of Ben at EGX in 2019 playing his first ever Pokemon experience, and he could not look more confused. I'll put them into the Patreon chat later.
We have been sat on the floor. Yeah.
I've also got photos of Dan arguing with a guy standing next to him at the booth.
Was I arguing with him?
Yeah, because he said he preferred Xbox or PlayStation, and I think were arguing because he was standing.
Actually, no, but that bellend just started like randomly talking to me about like why that's better than the other, and I was like, I've literally sat on the floor with aggressive hemorrhoids waiting to play this game, and now you're trying to chat to me about something. I was like, fuck off, leave me alone. Let me look at my pocket monsters.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with Pokemon Yellow going through in that category.
I'm just happy none of my games made games for dumb people.
No.
We'll have to. It remains to be seen if any of your games have made the top 10, though, Alex.
Well, I know at least 2 of them are there, right? So leave me alone.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I obviously put Lilac Wars above Pokemon, but yeah, to have Lilac Wars in there over Pokemon does sound a bit ridiculous.
Lilac Wars isn't even the best game in its own
It
franchise.
is so. Shut up. Starwing is plays terribly, Ben. Plays terribly.
Gonna have it. Still looks sharper as well. Brilliant. Right, so we've got our 10 that we now need to whittle down to 2. So let me just go through those. We've got A Link to the Past, Super Mario Bros. 3. I mean, you could just put them 2 in and call it a night.
Yeah.
Great games. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Shadow of the Colossus, GTA 3, Dead Cells, Final Fantasy 9, Halo, Disco Elysium, Pokemon Yellow.
God,
So we can say we can discount and straight away like Dead Cells.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's one next after that that's probably
Final Fantasy 9.
maybe not that one then. There's definitely a couple in there. That
I'd probably say Mario 3. If we've already got World, presumably in top 10, I don't think there needs to be another. Yeah. I don't think 3 is a top 10 of all time game, personally.
Do we say same for Link to the Past then as well?
I don't know about that. No, just because that's very popular, isn't it? So
I would say that'd be
not for me. Not for me.
So I haven't discounted Super Mario Bros. 3 just yet, but do hold that thought.
Would you have that in your top 10?
Well, I really struggled deciding between that and World. For me, they're pretty much at the same level of importance. But let's chip off the easier ones first. Well,
is there any?
I mean, so going through that list again, we've taken out Dead Cells, got Link to the Past, Mario 3, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Shadow of the Colossus. Now, I think those two, Will of the Wisps and Shadow of the Colossus, are probably on the edge of
a sugary peg.
But then I feel like Will of the Wisps though is one of the games since I've been a cross player, and then it's been one of the most generally loved games by everyone that's played it across all of us. Like particularly when you go back to the Game Club days, and we had that in Game Club, but it was like everyone fell in love with that game.
Yeah,
everyone sought to get the physical copy of it.
Yeah. There was a scramble for that.
I remember that our wider
collector's edition now.
We're all idiots. That's the thing.
Yeah,
we are.
All right, let's keep Will of the Wisps. I think we should get rid of Shadow of the Colossus. That was my choice in my top 10, but I think not enough of us have played it. It's not enough of an us game.
Are you luring us into a false sense of security by saying something like that? Now that you've been, I will Shadow of the Colossus. It's okay, just so you can try and get something else in there. I'm on to you.
Shadow of the Colossus is a necessary pawn in my ECS game.
The other 8 games in the list are his. That's why. It's all right, guys. Leave it out.
So we're down to 8. This is good. I would say there's also a toss-up between Halo and Disco Elysium. I'm not sure. Out of all the classics that we've got on here, I don't think as great as Disco Elysium is, and I've played a good few hours of it. It wouldn't be anywhere near my personal top 10.
Yeah, I think if we come back to this list in 5 years, 10 years, there's more chance of it being there.
Wishful thinking, that. Jesus Christ.
I've not about it being there. I bet it's coming back in 5 years.
The year is 2034. Everyone is fucked off. No, we'll still be here. I think... Well, I was going to say, would either of them get into the top 10 based on the other 8 games that are probably in there?
I don't think so.
No.
It's a struggle.
But
Is there
as
any...
a little...
Sorry.
Whether we want to have... Right, so just a little peek at what the rest of the top 10
I
looks
was wondering,
like. We haven't got any sort of shooting kind of games,
Stop
whether
trying-
we need it or not.
Stop trying to
I don't know.
massage it. Stop trying to. If there's 10 shooting games in there, that's our list. That's our power. Don't take that away from us.
Yeah,
With
I'm
your
happy to take out.
spreadsheets and your pivot table privilege.
I'm
Does
happy to
anyone
take
ever-
out Halo and Disco Elysium.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's everyone's gut for one to go through?
Probably.
A Link to the Past is my gut. That one. Go.
Yeah,
I would take Ori just for what I said.
those are my two.
I would.
gut.
My gut
as
would be Ori, and as much as it'll be a travesty that there isn't a Final Fantasy game in the top 10, probably Pokemon Yellow. They're the two.
Right.
I can see the Pokemon one as well, to be honest.
So are three of us saying Ori
For the top 10,
as
Yeah.
a gut
Yeah.
instinct? Lewis?
no.
Oh. Link to the Past.
Well, all right. Come on, back at you. What would your two be?
Link to the Past and Final Fantasy 9 for the cross players top 10.
But if you're saying Final Fantasy 9, then I'll switch.
But if you're saying the cross players top 10, I think
Which it is.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a more cross players game than Link to the Past.
Yeah.
And Link to the Past is much higher on my personal list. But I think Ori is a more cross players game than.
I almost feel it'd be a travesty if it wasn't there just for the general love of it.
I went the royal crossplay. I don't mean like
He's going for it,
seriously,
Alex,
like-
isn't he? He's going for it. It's Among Us all over again.
If the consensus is that Will of the Wisps gets it,
Pardon?
Yeah.
excuse me.
It's still a waffle.
Is that trombone?
Right. Okay.
But
Well,
if you three are saying Will of the Wisps in it, it has to get in.
right. I've marked that in orange. That's an amber. Kind of.
We get full rag rating on this, are we?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But I've read out Shadow of the Colossus and Dead Cells. I think we could read out Disco Elysium and Halo. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but yes.
We haven't discussed GTA 3.
Remove it. Yeah, remove
You reckon?
it. Yeah, based
Can
on
you
those.
go through
other
the
games.
ones that are left, actually, just so we can...
The ones that we haven't read it out.
Yes.
Link to
No,
the Past.
the ones that aren't shaded at all.
The ones that aren't shaded at all. Mario 3, GTA 3, and that's it. Mario 3 and GTA 3.
I would say you've already got World in the top 10. I don't think
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I agree.
And then in terms of GTA 3, as much as I love it, it's not really an us game. I don't think everyone else got the same affinity for it.
Okay.
So remove that.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Lewis, you alright with that?
Fine with that.
Okay, so that means we have
Right,
got...
Fortnite's going to be number one, isn't it? No one picked it, but it's going to be number one.
We're getting there. We've got 4 games now between Pokemon Yellow, Final Fantasy IX, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and A Link to the Past.
Horrible decision.
That is a strong list.
I think for me, I must have Ori, and I don't care about which one of the other three.
Okay. Alex being dramatic over this. So let's think about the other 8. So we've got
Must have Ori.
we're gonna have Elden Ring. We're gonna have Breath of the Wild in there. We're gonna
look,
have.
Shall we? Do we want to put a pin in these 4? Go over what the other 8 are, and then on that basis we can whittle these down,
Yeah.
or
yes.
even put all 4 of these in and take some of the others out. We can do that.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Shall we?
let's do it.
Let's do it. Right.
It's Ben's hands.
Let's downstairs. So statistically speaking, using my point-based system, patented Ben Sten's points-based system.
Right.
Go on.
Nothing.
Oh, you just went.
I did it, and then I realised I was like, "Oh, you're at mid-flow. I won't say what I was going to say." But now, I mean, yep.
Okay.
Thanks. It's, great contribution, as often is the case. Right, so let's have a guess. So the top one. An interesting number here, 37. We've mentioned the number 37 previously on this episode because there were 37 games in total. And the top game scored 37 points.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. No?
Breath of the Wild.
Just me doing that. So, anyone want to guess? Yeah, Breath of the Wild.
There was no point dragging it out. We knew what it was.
All right, fucking hell. Okay, so yeah, that got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 votes. Next one, 25 points, 3 votes. What do we reckon? Number 2.
World? Mario World?
Dan?
Portal 2?
Alex, did you say Elden Ring?
Yeah.
That is correct. It was Elden Ring.
Oh, wow.
Number 3, also with 3 votes, but 22 points. It got a 1, and a 9 in terms of its rankings.
It's Portal 2.
Portal 2, correct. Number 4, 17 points. Got voted number 3 and number 2. Any guesses?
Ocarina of Time?
Ocarina of Time, correct. Number 5, also on 17 points. It got voted number 2 and number 3.
So both equal then.
Yeah, all right, equal. What do we reckon? You might not guess this one.
Give us a clue. What does it start with?
It's too much for a clue. All
What's the
right,
first one?
here we go. I'll give you a clue. Ready? I'll give you an audio clue.
God of War.
Ready? No. That was a visual clue. Is an audio clue. Ready? No?
Ape Escape.
Lewis, do you recognise that?
Was that just you doing an impression of what I did earlier on? Hup.
No,
My old gym teacher.
Potamus Joe.
Oh, is it Hollow Knight?
Hollow Knight. Yeah.
What was that? What were you
That's
doing?
one of those big
I thought it was
guard
like-
things that
No one
walk around and go.
Oh, yeah, the Beetle guys.
Skyrim.
Don't pretend you know. Dan.
Well, I played it a lot. I played like 20 hours. Fuck you.
Okay, yeah, Hollow Knight. Impressive showing, I thought, for Hollow Knight. Next one, 16 points. Number 6, voted number 2 and number 4 by 2 extremely handsome fellows.
Right, Dan, what would we vote for?
Wasn't Forza. That's harsh.
Tetris.
Tetris is correct.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that can get removed. We can remove that and put one of the other ones in.
No, there's no way Tetris is coming out that list.
No. Right, last number 7, 10 points. Somebody voted it 5. Somebody voted it 7. What do we reckon? Any guesses? Think about what we have whittled down in our list. Think about
Yeah,
something.
isn't that Portal 2?
Super Mario World.
Mario World.
Super Mario World. Well done. And finally, number 8 with 8 points. Dan, you've already named the game in the previous guess. Here's a visual clue.
God of War.
Beautiful.
Well done.
Boy.
Good. So that's the 8. Obviously, we can play around with the order. That's just pure statistical analysis there. And then the other ones we've got for our consideration are A Link to the Past, Will o' the Wisps, Final Fantasy IX, Pokemon Yellow. Shit, man. First of all, are we happy with that order? It seems pretty strong to me. Breath of the Wild, Elden Ring, Portal 2. Great top 3.
That's I'm surprised that Portal 2 is so high. I don't know why. I think I can't remember where I'd placed it, but it was definitely in my top 10. But I'm
Well,
surprised.
you had it at 9, but then Mark and Alex both had it at 1.
I think our top 3s as well were all quite disparate. So it just took a couple of people to have that game close to the top 3 or 5 for it to get high. Dan explaining maths here. So the sequence of numbers, Lewis. What happens if you give a number to a higher number and then add them together? They get quite high together.
Thanks.
And that's
Thanks
what
for
happened
explaining
here.
it.
The weather tomorrow is going to be sunny with a fierce, mild easterly wind. I'm not. I mean, RE makes sense.
I'm really happy
I
that
think-
Hollow Knight is in there, by the way.
Yeah, that's a very, very us game. That's been
brilliant.
huge.
But
I feel like Pokemon should go in,
So do I.
personally.
my two would be
At
Link
what
to the
cost?
Past and Pokemon.
Even
Oh,
though
Final
how much you
Fantasy
love Will of the
IX.
Wisps.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy IX is my Hollow Knight over Switch Island years, but as Kylo Ren said, do I need to let the past die? And think about what our top 10 should be and what we're saying about it. Very tough.
I'm going to say, for me, Link to the Past and Will of the Wisps. But, like Alex, I feel more strongly about Will of the Wisps being on there because I think it's a more us game.
I think Will of the Wisps is a strong number 11.
It's got to be there. Well, this has got to be there, and I feel like Pokemon's got to be there as well for the same extent that Pokemon is one of those things that's loved again by the community. And I know I'm kind of going back to that thing, but I'm quite surprised. I'm quite surprised that there wasn't more Pokemon on the list to begin with.
I'll probably
To a certain extent.
replay Yellow over A Link to the Past. Personally.
And I mean, so what did you have? No,
That's a good point, actually, Dan.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
I'll
'Cause I
probably
have
play,
played-
yeah. And by that point, I'd probably play 9 over.
Would you play 9 over Yellow?
Yeah, I would.
I would as well.
I would go for 9, and I'd go for Will of the Wisps.
Ben, do you want to key up the Will of the Wisp music? That might swing me.
I can do it if you want.
I'd put a Will of the Wisps song up against anything from
The
Final
humming
Fantasy
game.
9.
This will be decided by a round of the humming game.
Well, I mean, 3 of us have now agreed on Will of the Wisp, so that's
Yeah, I think that's it.
Alex is desperate to get that in. We've got one in.
I agree, Alex. That should be in there, definitely. It's in which case it is a toss-up between Link to the Past, Final Fantasy IX, and Yellow. I am happy to fall on my Master Sword and turn A Link to the Past red.
Even that doesn't sound right, though, does it?
No, it's a fantastic game, but we've already got 2 Zelda games in the top 10.
True. Very true.
So it's like, fair enough, Ocarina of Time was just a 3D rip-off of A Link to the Past
Shut up.
with worse graphics. But
Yeah, I'm going with 9
in
then.
fact, I would put Link to the Past in over Ocarina of Time. That's what
I
I'm
would
out.
put Link to the Past over Ocarina of Time as well, personally.
I think we should consider swapping them out.
I think you should shut your damn mouth.
But yeah, happy to turn it red. Which leaves us with, we've put Ori on a shelf. I think we need to now decide between Final Fantasy IX and Pokemon Yellow.
I feel like, Dan, you need to pick because they were your game.
Yeah, I'd go for 9. I think out of those two, as much as I love Yellow, and I do think it's a bit of a travesty we haven't got the good Pokemon games in the list. I'm kind of, the reason I'm going against Yellow a little bit now is just for those Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee monstrosities that they brought out. That kind of soiled that memory for me a little bit. As much as they were really well loved and well received by people that are fans of Pokemon, they just didn't resonate, I think, with a lot of people. So they disappointed me. So yeah, I'm going to go for 9 just because personal preference. I love that game. I'm replaying it anyway. I've been replaying it for a long time, so I'll go for 9.
Is that the one with the little...
Vivi.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Very, very good
Thank you.
storyline.
PV approves in the background.
Vivi is
Mm.
right there.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's just railed a Moogle, which is now asleep next to him. Satisfied.
Yes. Are you happy with that, Lewis? You've got the strongest feelings about Pokemon Yellow.
I don't think I would. I've got a stronger feeling for Pokemon than Final Fantasy IX. But not specifically Yellow, like just that first generation.
Yeah.
Spent countless hours playing that.
Okay.
Remember sitting playing it in the back of the car, that kind of thing.
Right.
More memories like that.
Could you fudge it a wee bit and put, what is it, red, blue, yellow in?
I guess it's the same game though, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just that it's Pikachu following you.
Yellow was just slightly better, and the peripheral that it came with as well, the little walker, was pretty cool. There's better RPGs on the list than Pokemon Yellow. I don't know, that's the point of a top 10, that it's going to be pretty high anyway, but in terms of like actual true JRPGs, what else have we got?
Well, obviously we've discounted Dragon Quest 11 and Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
I think they were the only. Obviously, Fire Emblem is more of an SRPG. I mean, I'm all right with having Final Fantasy 9 on there.
So
It does feel
ultimately,
like-
so am I. Yeah.
I feel like if we have certainly spoken probably more about Final Fantasy 9 than we have Pokemon
Yes,
Yellow.
we
Yeah.
have.
We have certainly heard a lot more about
Whoa.
Final Fantasy 9.
Was it 9 that Dan had for the Switch pitch, or was that?
No, that was 9. Yeah.
We'll have to check with his mate.
He's gone now, hasn't he? He's been cancelled. Yeah, he was nonsense.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And he wasn't my mate, just to be clear. Like I just used him.
he was your mate at that specific
He
point
was
in time.
very useful to me at that point.
Yeah, all right. So are we all right with putting Will-O-the-Wisps and Final Fantasy 9 on there
Yeah.
Strong
at the
games.
expense of
Strong.
Pokemon Yellow, It's the Past, Mario 3? Just Tyler's just chipping in here in the chat. I'd say both the JRPGs. Final Fantasy is the more typical JRPG though, and there seems to be more love for it, I think, amongst the community.
Yeah, but
Pokemon.
he did say pinnacle of gaming for every generation since it released. So let's
That's true. We're discounting anything you've ever said.
take that with a pinch of salt.
All right. So that means we've got, we need to play around with the order here, but at the moment we've got Final Fantasy 9, Will-O-the-Wisps, God of War, Super Mario World, Tetris, Hollow Knight, Ocarina of Time, Portal 2, Elden Ring, and Breath of the Wild.
Wow.
Feels.
That is a good
Heck
top
of a
10.
list.
Yeah.
The
Strong.
only one I would
Yes.
change would be God of War, but it's
Right.
the statistics are.
Well,
what
let's
they are.
discuss. Let's discuss.
What would you replace it with, Lewis?
Pokemon.
Okay.
But then it's again. I think
Okay.
we spoke about Pokemon like for however long before, but like I said, I think we should let the statistics drive the top 8.
You
'Cause
happy with that?
Yeah, that's what it is.
All right.
And,
Well, look,
and I think it's a decent order as well. When you read that, you're not saying, "Oh, that's really too high," or "That's really too low." I think
yeah.
it feels about right.
Yeah, I think
We
so.
love maths.
We do love
Yeah.
maths.
Now we do have to decide though. Obviously, there was a tie there for the 4th spot
Ooh,
between Ocarina of Time and Hollow Knight. Lewis, what do you reckon?
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Consensual agreement.
That ghost got horny.
Why did you say?
He's consented. Woo!
Is that the word that you use to switch the lights off? Consensual agreement. Lights go down.
What's your safe word? Consensual agreement. Can't we just use banana? No.
Dan, only you knew that.
I know, yeah.
Right. So, are we happy with Final Fantasy 9 at 10, and then Will-O-the-Wisps at 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
just pissed me off that 9's not 9.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's a bit annoying.
Yeah.
But I think that's tough love. So
All right. That's that. Well, I think we've got ourselves a list, boys.
that was very civil.
It was.
Run through them again.
Let's run through them again, and then we'll do a celebratory click. We've got, at number 10, Final Fantasy IX. Number 9, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Number 8, God of War 2018. Number 7, Super Mario World.
Ben.
Dan, have you got your hand up?
More of a radio voice, please. Continue.
Oh, God. Continue or start again? I mean...
Start again, but I want it
Start
real laid on thick, please, because it's going to go on Twitter.
At 10.
At number 10, Final Fantasy IX. Number 9, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. At number 8, God of War 2018. Number 7, Super Mario World. Number 6, Tetris. Number 5, Hollow Knight. In at number 4, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Number 3, Portal 2. Number 2, Elden Ring. And the number 1 game from the Crossplayers definitive list, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
What a list!
What a cracking list.
Good list. Nice for Tony Blackburn to pop in there as well.
Stephen Landry's back, everyone.
Nate?
Yes. Yeah, I'm happy with that. What do we do now? What do we do with our lives?
I don't know, feel empty?
Well,
What we're going to do our next top 10 on?
well, I think we have to take some from the categories the patrons have suggested.
Yeah.
Maybe some genres.
Oh, we have to listen to them. Forgot about that.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
What was it? Genres? What was the second one? No. What was the second one?
Lewis's safe word is.
No, it's fine.
Genres, what was that other one?
I can't remember now.
Oh, okay, fine.
So long. But yeah, we'll figure something out. But it's been a fun segment. I think we should carry on doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Listeners, let us know what you want us to rank next time around.
Alex, calm down.
It's been a pleasure. It's been really good fun going through those.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Really
Yeah,
cool.
that was good.
Thank you for your contributions.
Well,
and it's
we'll
good.
put a little article on the website with the full rundown and have our top 10 up there.
Good idea.
We will indeed. And Alex, before we go, we've got another article on the website. Anyone that's listening to this on the feed, go back and listen to the previous episode on this feed, or 2 episodes before this one comes out. I don't know. Alex, tell us this new project of ours.
Finally time for X Players. So X Players is our brand new Xbox podcast talking about everything Xbox. Kingdom of 9 finally got some Xbox content to talk about, hopefully. So first episode should be in your streams now, so please go have a listen. As part of X Players, we're bringing back, well, not bringing back, we're introducing Game Pass Game Club. So we'll have a game of the month each month where we will play as a community, discuss and break down at the next episode. So please have a listen, be kind, because it's only my second time hosting a podcast and I think it's okay. Ben's heard it, he thinks it's okay.
It's very good.
So
Ben is greedy. He doesn't wait for things to hit the feed. He's a greedy little bism.
I was helping with the production. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good, and yeah, you should be very proud of that. Congratulations.
I can't wait to hear it when it hits the feeds.
Like a normal person. Yeah.
Like a patient person. But yeah, anyone listening, that obviously we appreciate you listening and continued support, but any shares, likes on social media, any Xbox fans that you know, tell them about us, tell them what we're doing, anything you can do to help us grow the channel, and reviews. If you can give us a 5-star review on Spotify or leave a little written review on iTunes. I don't think we've had one of those for a century. I think Mike was the last person to leave a review.
Or on the side of a toilet wall, just write the stuff down. Just write it like us and just
send us
get the word out there.
But yeah, any of that stuff helps.
And the postcode.
Yep, that too. But yeah, if you really want to help us and support what we do, there is patreon.com/thecrossplayers, where you can get access to exclusive content, lots of little perks and giveaways, and be the first to be involved in these things. We have, the reason we brought X players to the feed is because that's what our patrons wanted. They want us to do more dedicated platform-specific content. So that's what we're doing. So if you want to have a say in what we're doing, then patreon.com/thecrossplayers. For anything else, go to thecrossplayers.com. Alex, you did a review of KO the Kangaroo recently?
I did, yes. There's a
On there?
review of KO the Kangaroo. There was a Sweet Releases article of the games coming out in June, and there's a little introduction and lovely, lovely video for Dan's produced for the X players.
Fantastic.
It is delightful.
Yeah, it's been fun. Super fun last couple of weeks, especially with all of the stuff on the cross button, then X players, then CrossCast. It just feels like a comfortable stride, which is like genuinely lovely. So if we have got anyone listening that hasn't really got involved before, it would be amazing for you to show yourselves, pop over to the Discord, put your hands up, just give us a share, like Ben said, because it means a lot. And how buoyant were we over Sean Caprice, just like little retweet and comment and just like giving us a bit of a boost. And yes, it does mean a lot, but all the money that we get from Patreon as well, it always goes on some mad shit. You know, it's always a giveaway. It's not going into our pockets. So the more you help us, the more we create a little weird community, which is super fun and very wholesome. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah. But you'll find the link to Discord on thecrossplayers.com. So come over there, get involved, and follow us on Twitter at @thecrossplayers. But Lewis, if anyone wanted to stalk you individually, what would they do?
They could come outside my house. There's the pavement just there. They could wave. They could also maybe help the tramp pass me drinks through the window, or the tramp hole that I'll get installed in the shutters that are getting put here. But if you want to find me online, you can go to our website and go at that.fact, and you can come and say hello. I know you won't, because no one has. So yeah.
Bit needy. Alex?
You can find me at SSAlex984, basically everywhere. So Twitter, Instagram, Xbox, PlayStation. You can find me there.
I like the way you just said PlayStation, like in a more hushed tone. Daniel Ward, what about you?
Ooh, full name. Thanks for that. I'm going to get doxed. So you can find me at Dan Ward Tweets over on Twitter.
Full name?
Oh, shit! At number 44. Or you can, like you said, pop over to Discord, where I am starting to become a little bit more active now. I've come out of my parent bubble.
That's
not that I'm like neglecting my care. I've abandoned my child. Oh shit.
You can find me at Benji Kong, and yeah, as the guy said, come over to Discord, say hello, get involved. There's a lot going on during this faux E3 season, so come and be part of the conversation. And thank you very much for listening and for your support. We love you very much. Take care.
We do.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
1, 2, 3.
Kept waiting.
Thank you.